Hello, I'm Pep Rosenfeld, and Salesforce and I welcome you to this episode of Leading Through Change. This one will focus on consumer goods. Join us to hear from Eelco Wallinga, Sales Excellence Manager at Jacobs Douwe Egberts, how they built an innovative coaching app in just one day to support their commercial teams in the professional division to drive value-led customer conversations. So grab yourself a hot cup of coffee and let's get to it.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the second Leading Through Change webinar from Salesforce, where today we will be focusing on the consumer goods industry. First and foremost, thank you all very much for taking the time to join this webinar today. We'll be talking to our customer trailblazer, Jacobs Douwe Egberts, or JDE, on how they are driving innovations in their professional business. My name is Sophie Verwater, I'm the EMEA Industry Lead for Consumer Goods, and I'll be your host for today. Joined by our customer, Eelco Wallinga, who is the Sales Excellence Manager at JDE, as well as our SE Consumer Goods expert, Robin Bombeek, who will be showing how Salesforce are helping JDE concretely with our platform. So for context, I think with other industries as well, the last couple of months had a significant impact. So in consumer goods, I think as consumers, we've been noticing these changes firsthand. So think about empty supermarket shelves, of course, think about empty stores, as well as, restaurants and bars, etc. that needed to close. So luckily, we now are moving on from the stabilized phase, with most companies are going back to work and now are actually even looking ahead on how to best adapt to the new normal and beyond. So the current situation has demonstrated more than ever the need to be resilient, but specifically agile in adopting people, process and technology to really support your business and drive new business innovation. And this will also be the focus of today's webinar. So this brings me to the next part. Welcome, Eelco. First of all, thank you very much for being part of the webinar. Before we kick off, could you please introduce yourself and your role at JDE?
Yeah, my name is Eelco Wallinga, working for Jacobs Douwe Egberts. We're one of the biggest coffee companies in the world. And I'm working especially at the professional division, meaning that we offer coffee solutions in the out-of-home market, such as businesses, institutions, and commercial outlets. As a sales manager or sales access manager, my responsibility is to enable our sales department in driving excellent sales. And this involves training, coaching, optimizing sales processes, and driving adoption of our IT systems, for which Salesforce is one of them.
Thank you. So JDE has been a Salesforce customer for a while. Can you talk a little bit about how JDE are using the platform?
Yeah, we launched Salesforce a year ago, and it was a huge transition because it was involving pretty much all of our departments. Currently, Salesforce we are using on our sales department, but also customer care department. Marketing is using it. And we have rolled it out globally, so all countries are using the system at this moment. So that was a big transition. And since Salesforce was also new to me, I was experiencing that there was a lot going well, but that there were not always using the system at the full potential. At least it was the feeling I had. And Salesforce was really helpful on that part. I got invited to join the How Salesforce Uses Salesforce meeting, but I also was offered to get a so-called floor walk session, helping us to optimize the way we work with the system. So that was really helpful for us.
That's really great to hear. So shifting a bit more to your specific business area, what are some of the key challenges that you face as a sales excellence manager?
Well, the development of our associates is one of our top priorities. I'm a strong believer in coaching, and it's the most important activity of a manager. It helps to activate what's learned in training, and for me, the biggest challenge was to identify the need of training and also see what is the progress after people followed training. Just not only in sales results, but just in developing. Well, to do that, we had developed sales coaching cards on our own. We did that in an Excel sheet, and that worked fine in one hand, but on the other hand, it was not really user-friendly. You got a lot of different files. It was shared on different places to secure the privacy. And in the end, yeah, it really was not telling me anything on the progress development or on the training needs. So even without opening all the separate files one by one. And it was not really accessible because you could manage it to buy on a computer with Excel, but it was not really user-friendly on a mobile device, for example. And it was really the need I had to develop a new system or to seek for a new system.
Okay, so really the need for a coaching app. So you partnered with Salesforce for this specific use case. So can you talk a little bit more about, how the app came to life?
Yeah, well, my first ask was, is there an out-of-the-box solution for that, which I can already use? And there are solutions, but they're all really expensive, and none of them are really exactly following my needs. So Salesforce told me that there was a possibility to have a Build It Now session. And in a Build It Now session, some people of Salesforce came to our office. I brought a few people to the room, and in the session, which take like for 6 hours, I think, for a day, there was an app built in one day. So I asked them what to build, they built it, and there was a working solution within one day, and exactly following my needs. And on a mobile device, everything was directly in it.
Okay, so that's really talking about agile innovation. So bringing this app to life in one day. What has been the reaction of the team so far, and how has the adoption been?
Well, people were really glad on it because they were all struggling with the Excel sheets. So sales managers all over the world were having the same challenging. So they were really glad we had a new solution in Salesforce because it's working really quick. You can use your mobile device. So if you add a customer in the moment you walk from customer to your car, you can finish your coaching card directly. So it's really helpful there. But also HR department was really glad to have a solution like this because it secures the privacy of the people, but also we could do this without having any additional license costs, which is also really helpful for building such a thing like this.
Do you have any recommendations for anyone who will be looking to pursue a similar project?
Well, for me, it was really helpful to not overthink the process. Sometimes if you go into a development phase of anything, you're thinking all processes to the full detail. But having an open mind and just knowing that the system is really agile, it's really easy to add or remove objects in the process of developing the system. So just start with it, make it better. Involve your people, which really helps in the adoption of the app. So involve people and be really agile and not overthink it.
Very curious to hear from you. Where do you see the future of the partnership with Salesforce?
Well, hopefully it will be a partnership, and I'm really glad with the help I got so far. And for me, it's really important that I work with a partner who thinks with me in solutions, and not only say this you have to do, but also think with me what the best solutions are and help me to build it or to adopt it or implement it, whatever the solution is. But that has been good so far, and I really think it's going to be that in the future.
Thank you very much, Eelco. That was really inspiring how you built this app in a day. And thank you also very much for joining the webinar and sharing your experience.
Thank you.
So let's take a moment and let's show you what has been built in the day based on the ideas and inspiration that came from Eelco and the JDE business. So handing over to Robin, our solution engineer, who will be showing a demo of the coaching app.
Thanks. I'm Robin Bomick. I'm a Master Solution Engineer over in Salesforce Netherlands, and I've been working very closely with Eelco and his team over at JDE in being able to create this innovative application that we built in a day, focused around the coaching side of their business. So let's take a look at what that demo looks like now. Okay, so for this demo, I'm going to play the role of Robin, who is a manager over at JDE. And he works with a group of account representatives that look after various businesses. So think about restaurants, museums, cafes in the Amsterdam area. Now, one of his colleagues is Wendy, and he's decided to help Wendy with the engagements that she has with her customers, and he's joined her on a ride along. Now, we've just finished the meeting over at a cafe over in Amsterdam called Jacobs, and we'll show you what it looks like to capture a coaching card as a result of that meeting. Now, what you're looking at here on the mobile device are two icons. One is the Salesforce app, the mobile application, and the second one is Inbox, where all my email, etc., is augmented with information around CRM. But today we're going to really focus on the Salesforce mobile app, which should be familiar to a number of people that are looking at this particular call. So let me just tap on that Salesforce icon, so the blue cloud, and what you'll see is we get a branded JDE mobile application that opens up. What this gives me is basically everything that I would normally have over at the office when I'm using Salesforce through my web browser, now magically available on my mobile device. So everything becomes instantly rendered based on this mobile experience. Now, the customer that we've visited is Jacobs, based over in Amsterdam, and I can very quickly just open up their details and get a quick overview before I go in there around things like some key KPIs. So total sales to date, how many employees do they have, etc. Or if I'm actually driving there, then I can get things like my driving directions, contact telephone numbers. I can even have a double check on things like opening times because we've got access to their website. So basically we pull everything together so that everything is just really a very simple click away. Now, for the purpose of what we built, we're focusing really around the coaching app. And you can see the coaching app through the app launcher. Here, when I list all the various applications, we've added an extra JDE branded app here called JDE Coaching. So let me switch into that and you can see what it looks like. It's really, really simplified. It's really easy. It's connected to all the other information that we have over at JDE focused around those customers. The only difference here is that we're also connecting it to our employees, in this case, sales. So if I tap on people, for example, I can see people within my team. In this case, I'll just open up Wendy's profile page. And in theory, I can drill into whatever appropriate specific details and KPIs that will help me and Wendy when we go through our coaching discussions. Now, as a result of this meeting that we've just had, I'm going to create a coaching card. So I'm going to tap that button here. And you can see that it started what looks like a kind of wizard. Well, what you're looking at here is something called a screen flow in Salesforce, which is executed by Salesforce Flow. And it gives you the ability to build these types of little mini wizards within your application using clicks and not code. So simple things like only show me accounts that Wendy owns so that I can actually restrict this filter and really simplify the logic rather than go hunting for information. I can really build applications very quickly focused around my business process. Now, in the past, Barista was done through a sort of structured spreadsheet that would have various fields that you would provide information to, but it wasn't really measurable and it wasn't really aggregated in any particular way. So what we did here was we built Barista into this particular screen where you can very quickly just capture some key KPIs around what happened as a result of that meeting. So we're going to say as part of being prepared for the meeting, she prepared really well. She was okay on asking questions and also recapping the customer's environment. Unfortunately, there was a question around some specific coffee flavorings and new solutions that are coming to market where she'd have to get back to them on that. And then in terms of sealing the deal, so looking at their existing sales agreements that they have in place and also making sure that everything's running okay and they're getting back to business okay, she's doing pretty good in those areas, and in some areas she's really excelling. Now, the great thing about using Salesforce on a mobile device is that you can start taking advantage of the capabilities of that device itself. So here, in terms of the Barista methodology, one of the areas is that we need to capture things like strengths and opportunities, just as some general free text or some notes. And with that, I can basically just use the microphone here on my mobile and talk to my CRM and just get my notes added in there very quickly. So let me just capture some notes here now. She really understands the local market and is well connected in the industry. And then in terms of opportunities, luxury coffee and flavored roasting beans. And then when I tap on next, that will now create a coaching card for me within Salesforce. And then I can continue with my next meeting. So this coaching activity that we've just done, it could be a physical activity where we've gone to the physical site. It could also be that I'm listening in on a phone call and I'm capturing some notes and then recording that very quickly so that I can then move on with my next account rep that's visiting another customer or doing another call with a customer or a video call. But you get the idea. We're basically giving you time back by being able to take those micro moments in an easy to use application and then use the mobile application in this case to speed things up. So that's how we captured a coaching card. Let me show you what that looks like when we get back to head office. So here I am over in Utrecht. So I'm still logged in as Robin. If I just do a refresh, we'll see a number of things that happen within the application. So first of all, as a result of creating that coaching card, what we've also done is we've created some workflow activity in the background that sends a notification to Wendy to let her know that the coaching is now complete, so she can then complete her part of the coaching process, maybe adding some additional notes, or there'll be some tasks and activities that she needs to follow up on. But it really connects everything together as a result of action from data that has just been captured in the system. You can also see a data quality dashboard that's showing us things like, well, how many coachings have we done so far? If I just do a refresh, we should see that it goes to 33. And then we can also see some data quality areas where there are some coaching cards where we're missing information. We can also have a look in general at who we've coached so far in the various teams, etc. And all of this can be set up considering things like the security model and the access to who you have within which team, etc. So the other thing that's interesting is really looking at the dashboards on an individual basis. So when we have that discussion with Wendy over in the office, we can also have a look at things like any trends and behaviors and patterns that are on the up or on the down. In this area, we can see that in terms of introducing the concept, this is a focus area that we need to start looking into. So a few days later, even, we can basically go back to this view and then open up the coaching card and have a look at what we captured as a result of that meeting on the mobile. So each one of those score items here has been visualized as a coffee bean to make it a lot more visual. And you can see here the strengths and opportunities feedback on what we've collected to date. You can also see guidance on the right-hand side where each one of those metrics has a hint around what you need to do at what particular stage to be able to sell the JDE way. And then on top of that, what we've also configured here is Einstein Next Best Action, which is looking at all the data that's sitting in these scorecards, and it's coming up with recommendations to be able to improve the way in which you're working. So in this case, Wendy hasn't completed the training around introducing the concept, so it's now being prompted as a trail that she could follow in My Trailhead, or it could be any other form of learning environment.
Thank you, Robin. Very relevant example of how we can help consumer goods customers such as JDE build quick innovations to support the commercial teams. And what I've been taking away from this conversation is that with a strong collaborations, ideas can be turned into reality quite quickly if you really align the right people, processes, and technology.